Yes, you're absolutely right, Richard. We had in the last month since Corona started almost a number of city discussions, because we are such an engaged city in terms of the people who live here who want to look out for each other. And we have discussed things about our creative industries. We actually also had a very good meeting on Black Lives Matters. And now we want to talk about the longer term impacts of the COVID crisis, how it has affected people's daily lives, and around, for example, our mental health, around our jobs, around the fact that young people can't go to school or couldn't go to school and now start again, and the amount of learning time that they have lost in the last 6 months. There's so much to discuss and come to terms with. And that is what we are going to talk about with a very good panel group of people who represent different organizations in Bath.
Now, you mentioned there talking about the future, but as we are all so well aware, we are still dealing with a virus that hasn't yet gone away, and we don't have the effective means of controlling it. Now, a few days ago, you were calling on the government to set up testing sites in all our university cities, including Bath. But we are also hearing that the testing that is going on in this country already appears to be overwhelmed, that it isn't working properly, it isn't reaching people. What hope is there that if a system isn't working now, a call for even more testing sites is going to make it more efficient and effective?
Well, first of all, the government has to come clean about what actually our testing facilities are. Matt Hancock comes almost daily on television and says we have got the best testing facilities everywhere, within international comparison. So is that true or is that not true? Because if it was true, then clearly, the testing facilities that we have are not enough. If you look at a city like Bath, anybody who wants to actually access a testing facility can only either go to Bristol or to Swindon. That's just simply not good enough. So if the government only has testing facilities for our big urban centres, fine, but they should come clear with that and tell us that that's the truth, rather than creating this impression that testing facilities are all there and we can do it, and we do it in higher numbers than any other country. Well, it can't be both. If we do have the facilities and the capability, then Bath, as a city with many, many students coming in very soon, should have an accessible testing centre.
Now, some universities have said they will test their own students. Isn't that something we could ask of our two universities?
Well, first of all, I think the two universities are looking into those possibilities. But let's face it, when young people come into our city and mingling with the rest of us, that we are only testing the students. Many of them will be asymptomatic because they're young, and we know that younger people are less affected than older people. I don't think that is good enough either, because ultimately, I want to give reassurance to the citizens of Bath that everything is in place to make sure that we don't get a local outbreak.
We are in a bit of a bubble here, though, in Bath, aren't we? I mean, when we hear the stories of the increasing cases up north, where maybe people don't have the same facilities, and where people do have, are of poorer means, living closer together, we've been quite lucky so far.
Absolutely, we have been quite lucky, and we need to recognize that. And I don't want to be unreasonable looking in the context of the whole national picture. It also has to be said that in Bath, because we are the people in Bath, people have been very, very compliant and actually understood the seriousness of the situation, understood that COVID is lethal, understood that we all have to stand together in order to avoid that we get a big local outbreak. And if I may say, that was always the message that came out from me and my office and from the council. So we have managed it very well so far. And the council has done some excellent work supporting people in their homes and making sure that, we manage the crisis as well as possible. So it's been a team effort for all of us. It needs to be recognized. Yes, we are lucky, but we also created some of our own luck.
Vera, can I ask you for a personal view here? I know you've got to rush off to do other things. The city you've represented since 2017 in terms of tourism and the high street has been pretty well, has taken a massive hit because of COVID. How can you help? What words can you give to reassure people or physically to help traders and the tourist industry to recover in the future?
These are unprecedented times, and the tourism industry has been, hit in a very big way, not just in Bath, but nationally and globally. And we need to adapt to this new reality. We had a discussion over the resilience of our local economy. And one of the things that I'm pushing for is that we actually try to create more resilience in our local economy, that we are not only dependent on specific sectors, but widen ourselves out as a city to have different sectors that can contribute to the wealth of our city.
But that's going to take time. In the meantime, we're a heritage city with Georgian architecture, with Roman remains. We still need that, don't we?
Of course we need tourists, and I understand that actually local tourism, so tourists coming in from within the UK, from our own country, have increased massively in Bath, and that is very welcome, and we are continuing to work with our tourist organizations to really market Bath as a city to come and visit now, that we are safe, and indeed the fewer numbers we have locally, the more confident people will feel to visit our city. We are making sure that all businesses know how to be COVID compliant and make work as safe as possible, but also visiting as safe as possible. We need to support the cultural sector, and have been raising my voice in Parliament to make sure that the cultural sector really gets the support it needs, because performing industries are also particularly hit. I have to say, our Theatre Royal is blazing the trail about opening the theatre again very soon, or has just done so for visitors, and makes it happen. We want to be a city to show how we can be safe, but also find new creative ways of making tourism and enjoying performances safe.
Vera, I just wanted to get a reaction from you. There are 11 Lib Dems in Parliament, just 11 of you. You, of course, recently put yourself forward as a candidate to lead your party. You then decided to back Layla Moran, and Ed Davey got it. How do you feel about all of that? Is he going to get your full support?
Of course, he's now the leader of the Liberal Democrats, and we all need to pull together in order to get a strong Liberal voice out in this country. So it would be very foolish of me or any Liberal Democrat to suddenly fall away because we had an internal election, and that is the outcome of what the party members, of which a majority voted, and we've got a very large membership. That's now the outcome of an election, like a national election. You have to accept that. And go and make the most of it. And of course I will do that. Am I disappointed? Yes, I had quite a clear different vision from what Ed David was proposing, but ultimately that was within the range of being a liberal. I'm a proud liberal, and I'll continue to shout from the rooftops about the liberal message in this country. I will support Ed Davey. I think what we need is a progressive alliance, and I will promote that within the party. That was very much my stance. I think if we split the progressive vote again and again, then the Tories will always come back in. So we need to work on a progressive alliance.
You're picking up the point I wanted to raise with you, that some are saying with just 11 of you, even if you jump up and down, you're not going to get noticed. With such a polarised parliament between the left and the right, maybe it's time for the Lib Dems to just join Labour.
No, you don't need to join Labour, but you have to act as a bloc. Our voting system in this country, I've pointed that out a lot, is what it is, but it is very unfair and disproportional. So in times like this, where politics is very, very divided between two main differences, we have to recognize that we can only win as a bloc. So I think we need a progressive center-left bloc, and we can be a distinctive voice within that bloc, like the Green Party can, like Labour can, like the Lib Dems can. We are a different party with a different history, with different values, but we can work together in a progressive alliance.
So we're going to be seeing Keir and Ed getting a bit closer together.
I hope very much that it is also about messages that we are setting out. It's not about personalities. It's about things on which we work together. Like, for example, the housing crisis. The Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats have similar ambitions about building at least 100,000 new social homes for rent every year. These are the sort of shared messages that we need to get out there. We have similar messages on how we want to tackle the climate emergency and work very closely with the Green Party together. So let's just settle on the things where we absolutely share aims and ambitions. It's not just about the individual leaders.